Hello everybody, I'm Tim Blair, and it's time for the Clay County Times-Democrat weekly web update for the week of July 31st, 2013. Our weekly web update brought to you on cctimesdemocrat.com by the good folks at Piggott State Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Well, we come to you actually on a Friday morning here for this week's webcast. It is the first Friday in August, so that can mean only one thing. Tomorrow's the Greenway Picnic. First Saturday in August, the Greenway Picnic held in that community to benefit the Mitchell Cemetery. And that's where we originate the broadcast, our webcast from this week, as we're here under the big oak tree up in the oldest section of Mitchell Cemetery here outside of Greenway, and coming to you from beautiful hillside here with a nice breeze blowing here for the first week of August. Not too shabby. The Greenway Picnic will be held tomorrow. We have all the details in the print and online editions of the Clay County Times-Democrat, the complete schedule of pageants and other activities that will be going on. If you have the opportunity, we encourage you to get out and check it out. Now, several years ago, I wrote a column in the paper called "Everybody's Got to Come From Somewhere." May not have been grammatically correct, but it's true. It's one of the few things in life we don't get to choose is where we come from. Now, my family, of course, you come from a split family, generally from two different communities. The Blair family were basically from 1870 or so on, based in the Crockett community for several generations, but the other side of my family are the Copeland family, and of course, down in this area from Greenway on down into Mary's Chapel and Rector's, where the Copelands populated for many years. So this is pretty much family ground for me, for my mom's side of the family. In fact, Richard Marion Copeland, my grandfather, who passed away back in 1947, he's buried right over there underneath that big tree. So this is kind of old time's sake. Also have Jewel family members buried up here, so and my reasons to support the Greenway Picnic, so hope you'll do the same. Now, we'd like to talk a little bit about the print and online editions of this week's paper. Of course, we mentioned the Greenway Picnic preview. We also have all the details on the concert held down at the Rector Community Center last week. Gary Prince and Sugar Creek entertaining a great crowd as they raised money for the continued upkeep of the community center down in Rector. We also had an open house at the Inn of Piggott. Joe and Tracy Cole, both former Piggott residents and PHS grads, they have somewhat returned, and they have purchased the Inn of Piggott, formerly the Downtown Inn. A long time ago, it was the Piggott State Bank building, and they have taken over operation of that. They had an open house this past weekend, and our camera visited. Let's take a look at that now.
First of all, he misspelled the Piggott banner.
Wish the very best to the Coles and Inn manager Beverly Scott in that effort. And if you need to get in touch with them, their number is 870-598-8888. Very easy to remember. They also have some great history coming up because Joe Cole, like me, a bit of a history buff, and he's got some things planned to tie in with the movies that the Face and the Crowd made in Piggott, A Farewell to Arms, which was a portion of that was written in Piggott by Hemingway. He's got some things tied in with that. Also going to be having a retrospective on World War II around Pearl Harbor Day, as they took a look at what was going on in Piggott at that time, and also how Piggott reacted and found out about the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Interesting stuff. If you're into the history of it, you might want to get into that, or if you just want a nice place to stay when you come to town, can't do much better than that. Also in this week's print and online editions, we've got all the details on the great success of the Piggott High School FCCLA as they made a trip over to Nashville for nationals. In the print edition only, you can find out about the kids that went to Fayetteville with the 4-H and took part in the 4-H-orama. We had some kids that did quite well from all across this area. We also have the story on Matt Mills, former Clay County Central Cougar standout, has been named. He'll be inducted into the Rector High School Hall of Fame a little later this year, and we've got the story on that. And also a story on the Piggott Summer Tennis League, which has been going on at the public courts. They had a couple of the divisions wrapped it up. We've got the details on that. They've got one more division. We'll have the details on that in the upcoming edition of the Clay County Times-Democrat. We mentioned the Greenway Picnic is set for tomorrow. Folks are down there right now getting ready. Let's take a little tour of the picnic grounds. Again, we'd like to invite everyone to come out and support the Mitchell Cemetery and visit the Greenway Picnic if you're able to do so. The weatherman keeps changing the forecast. Of course, we have that slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, but it might just cool things down for the evening. But we encourage everyone to come out and support the picnic if you have the opportunity. Now, coming up in the next edition of the Clay County Times-Democrat, Ryan Rogers, local boy, he'll have all the wrap-up from the Greenway Picnic, all the details on Miss Greenway and all the other details. We'll also have the details on a special meeting of the Piggott School Board held last night, Thursday evening at the administration building. They have hired a new band director for the district, a young man who went to school at Greene County Tech and has most recently been at East Poinsett County. Will be taking over the program, and he was hired. Will be taking over, and they'll be getting underway, I believe, next week with marching practice for marching band coming up this season. So we'll have all the details and the information on that hire coming up in the next edition of the paper. We also had a check presentation at the courthouse, turned back money from State Commissioner of Lands, John Thurston. Came to town and made a check presentation. I believe that was Wednesday. We'll have the details on that as well. And also, they presented us with some original plat maps of Clay County that have been stored in the archives in Little Rock for many years, and they're turning those back over to the counties, and that's interesting. We'll have some details on that as well. We'd like to let you know there is a baseball tournament going on at Independence Park tonight, tomorrow night. They have a couple of age divisions, 15 and under, 10 and under. They're playing ball down at Independence Park. We'll have the details on that coming up in the next edition of the Clay County Times-Democrat. We'd also like to remind you, it's the 1st of August. That means that football and volleyball just around the corner. 2 days getting underway next week as the band gets to practicing. We'll have volleyball and football practice getting underway as well. We'll have your complete preview of the football season coming up in the August 28th edition. Well, we'd like to remind you also to pick up a copy of the Delta Voice. It's on newsstands all up and down the region, from way down around Mark Tree all the way up into Stoddard County, Missouri. Absolutely free. Pick it up. It's got a lot of great information, ads, and so forth. And also, there's an opportunity for you to sign up in your community for a chance to win $300. It's given away every month. No strings attached. We'd also like to remind you that the new Piggott Community Guide, which will be featuring history and information on Mohawk sports and Piggott area sports, that will be coming out very soon. Be looking for that. We'll be distributing in the local papers, and it'll also be available around the area. Pick up a copy of that. We think you'll enjoy it. It's been a lot of fun working on that project. I also have another Crossroads magazine, which will be coming up a bit later in the fall, so keep your eye out for that as well. Well, again, that's going to wrap it up from beautiful Mitchell Cemetery as we're out here on a lovely August day. And again, I hope to see you at the Greenway Picnic tomorrow. And with that, we wrap up another edition of the Clay County Times-Democrat Weekly Web Update. We're brought to you by the good folks of Piggott State Bank right here on cctimesdemocrat.com. And until next time, for all of us, I'm Tim Blair.